Good afternoon, everybody. I am leaving the sewing side of my channel for a little bit to talk about cooking, hence the homemade side of my channel. And I will start with, basic information. Then I'll expand to some of the recipes that I use and the techniques that are used to prepare food nowadays. One of the first things that we need to talk about is seasoning your meats and vegetables. I'm going to do a series of videos that will encompass the spices that are available for use today and try to explain how those will affect your dishes. So let's first start off with table salt, right here. The Americanized version of salt. Now, our version of salt is totally, and I mean totally, devoid of any of the naturally occurring minerals that are in normal salt. I don't know why they do this, but, this is the worst kind of salt that you can possibly use in your diet. It ranges anywhere from coarse to very fine, and like I said, it's not really good for you. One of the reasons that it is because of the minerals, and the other reasons is because we decide that we're going to add stuff to it. One of the things that they are adding is iodine. Potassium iodine is extremely important for the function of the thyroid gland in your neck. The reason why people succumb to thyroid disease is because iodine is not naturally occurring in the region or area and in the diets of the people that are in those areas. So we add it in. The other thing that they add is a mineral called calcium silicate. Basically what this means is that it's a powdery type substance that adheres to each one of the granules of salt, and it keeps your salt from clumping up because salt is a natural draw of water and oil. And everybody who knows that they've ever had any salt that doesn't have that sodium silicate has to use a jackhammer to practically get their salt apart so they can use it. The other items that we're going to be discussing now are about the 12 types of salt that are currently available, the better type of salt for you. Not this stuff, but sea salt and pink Himalayan salt and all the different other salts that are harvested throughout the world. Like I said, there's about 12 of them, and they all vary in salinity, meaning saltiness of taste. And they vary in size from coarse to very fine. But the first one that we're going to talk about is kosher salt. Now, don't let anybody kid you. Kosher salt is sea salt. But it's a type of sea salt. It's named for the Jewish process of meat preparation, which is required that meat be devoid of all blood. And this salt does a very good job of doing it. It dissolves quickly and usually makes most recipes milder in flavor with regards to taste. Now, the next one I'm going to bring to your attention is the Himalayan pea salt. This is the one that is most widely used nowadays because of the fact that it has such good minerals and flavor to it. And this salt is usually harvested in the Himalayan mountains of Pakistan, and it's extremely rich in minerals and nutrients that are needed for your body. The pink portion of the color comes from the iron mineral that is naturally occurring in the salt. And like I said, a lot of people use blocks of this salt to cook on in the oven, and it gives the food an excellent taste, and it doesn't oversalt it either when they're using these blocks. The next thing I want to talk to you about is sea salt. Now, how they do this is they take seawater and put it into pools, and they allow the water to evaporate, and all that's left is the salt from the ocean water. And different areas of the oceans have different type of minerals that are included in them, and I can give you just a couple of them here real quick. One of them is gray salt, which is a French salt that's harvested from the Atlantic Ocean. It has its own set of minerals and nutrients embedded in the salt. There's also a Celtic sea salt, which is harvested around the British Islands, and that one is a nice mild salt also. The third salt that I want to talk to you about is another sea salt, and it's called flat salt. Now, that type of salt is usually used as a garnish to salt the dishes that have already been prepared. And the appearance of it is kind of like it's flat, and it looks like little itty bitty pyramids. That's about the best way to describe it. There's another type of salt that is harvested, that's a form of sea salt, is Hawaiian red salt. And it's harvested from around the Hawaiian Islands. I don't have a sample of it here, but it's literally red because of the amount of iron oxide rich volcanic clay that it forms in. And it's very, very nice tasting salt. I've personally tasted it. It's not real heavy on the salty portion on it, and it's extremely nice. But then on the flip side of that, there is another salt that is harvested in the Hawaiian Islands, and it's called Hawaiian black salt. And it's got a really, really strong flavor. And it's because of the volcanic development of the salt that makes it such a distinctive taste. Now, the next type of salt that I want to talk to you is from Nepal. The Nepalese call it kala nimic. And basically what they do with that salt is they bake it with herbs on top, and they cook it until it's like almost like a charcoal color, and it's a very, very strong, distinctive flavor, and it's used usually in vegan dishes and most oriental dishes that are produced from the area. And like I said, it makes it a very distinctive flavor. Now, the next salt that I'm going to talk to you about is just regular mined salt, but with a twist. What they do is they smoke the salt, and the salt has different flavors, and the color is based on the type of wood that's used. And usually the types of wood that are used are elder, apple, mesquite, hickory. And like I said, the color of the salt will depend on the type of wood that there's being used for the smoking. And like I said, the salt is a natural draw, and all of those flavors coming from the wood are embedded in the salt after they're done with the process. And it usually takes about 2 weeks worth of smoking for that type of salt to be produced. Now, the final kind of salt that I want to talk to you about is pickling salt. Now, it is exactly what it says. It is used in canning and food preservation. It's usually a very fine salt, a lot finer than what you see coming from table salt. And it doesn't cloud water. And that's one of the reasons why they use it, is because of the fact that it dissolves quickly. It's high in saltiness, and it it does a very fine job of making your pickles beautiful looking because of the fact that it doesn't cloud the water or the juice that's inside your pickles. The next thing I want to talk to you is about peppers. Now, there is a difference between peppers and peppercorns. There are only about 4 types of peppercorns that are currently used, and they're all the same peppercorn. Green peppercorns are exactly what they are. They're green, and it's the corn that has not matured to ripen, let alone to be dried. And the red peppercorn is a fully ripened peppercorn, and then it'll have a red color to the outside of it. Now you can see here I have 2 forms of peppercorns here. I have black and I have white. Now basically what white is they just take the black portion of the peppercorn off, and there's your white peppercorns. And black peppercorns are the ones that have the white the covering on the outside of the peppercorn. So that's about the only difference between those. Now, I'm quite sure that I'll have a couple viewers say, well, what about Szechuan peppercorns? Szechuan peppercorns, or Szechuan pepper, is not exactly a peppercorn. It is not a pepper at all. It's a spice that comes from the seed husks of a prickly ash shrub, and it's usually considered a member of the citrus family. And what they do is they take this pinkish red husk off of these seeds, and then they dispose of the seeds because the seeds are too gritty and unpleasant to eat. So they only use the husk of those. And they're not really considered a peppercorn or a pepper because it's actually a citrus type product. So this is all I have for you today. I'm hoping to expound on more seasonings in the next video, and then we will continue with more adventures for your cooking. Have a good day, and like and subscribe to my channel. I would really greatly appreciate it, and let me know how I'm doing. Bye-bye now.